Hey, today I want to share with you from Proverbs chapter 1. I've done a teaching on Proverbs and I've done parts of it, but we're going to complete it. One of the chapters we left out was the very first chapter, and I want to talk about Proverbs and how important it is to identify the value of it and really to go completely through it. And I'm going to skip around through these chapters. I'm not going to cover verse by verse through every chapter, but kind of get the overall of what it's saying and hit on some that I believe are key to us living a successful life in Christ. Proverbs is like Psalms. Psalms being really a focus on our personal relationship and fellowship with God. Proverbs is for our daily life. While we can extend that Psalms teaching over, the Proverbs is really focused on not so much our interaction in prayer and our personal relationship, but taking God's principles and applying them to our everyday life. And so with that idea and that understanding, it's pretty cool to go through the entire, since there's 31 chapters, you go through it every month or for a month and do that on a regular basis. Man, what a way to just instill God's ways of doing things. So let's dive into verse 1. It says, "These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. Their purpose is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. Their purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them do what is right, just, and fair." So, taking that in consideration, I'm thinking, man, this is like a great self-help teaching. This is an awesome way to grow and to learn. These Proverbs will give insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. So this is just the very first part of this, where they're setting us up for here's the value of doing this study on the book of Proverbs. It says in verse 5, then let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those with understanding receive guidance. And by exploring the meaning of these proverbs and parables, the words of the wise and their riddles, the fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Man, I tell you what, when I begin to think about that and how important it is for us to grab hold of the value of the understanding of all that God has done for us in and through His Word, and begin to apply that, you can see where you're going to go from being foolish, being a failure, being someone who's not prepared, to somebody who is prepared, somebody who is wise, somebody who does make right choices. My child, listen when your father corrects you. Don't neglect your mother's instruction. What you learn from them will crown you with grace and be a chain of honor around your neck. My child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone just for fun. Let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive like the grave. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our house with all types of stuff to take. Come, throw in with your lot with us, and we'll all share in the loot. Man, that's a terrible thing that they're using as an example. But yet, that's the type of thing that the wrong friends will do for us. If you were raised by good parents, they told you, pick good friends. You'll become like those that you hang around. And, that's what the Proverbs is talking about here. He's saying, man, be careful who you closely associate with, who you connect with, who's the ones that are going to influence you to do right and wrong. And so pick good friends. He says, don't go along with them. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves, and they're trying to get themselves killed. He says, such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. So they're wanting to get things easy. They're wanting to rob others. They're wanting to take advantage. And God just says, look, they're going to get theirs. They're going to get the end result of that life, and it's not going to be good. But instead, He just encourages us to listen to the advice of others. Speeding ahead to verse 30, It says they reject the advice and they pay no attention when I correct them. Therefore, they'll eat the bitter fruit of living their own way. They'll choke on their own schemes. For simpletons turn away from me to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency. But all who listen to me will live in peace, untroubled by fear, the fear of harm. You know, wisdom just brings peace. And so this Solomon, who wrote this, considered the wisest man alive, his pursuit was wisdom. When he could have had God give him anything, he said, God, just give me wisdom of how to lead your people, how to be wise in the things that I do. Making sure that we're putting our trust in God and following him in a good way. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of good advice right there. You know, you may be an adult and you say, I don't really have the influence of peer pressure. I don't really have this or that. That never stops. Peer pressure is great when it's a strong influence when you're young, especially when you first go to school or maybe get up into high school. There's going to be people trying to influence us to do wrong, but it never really completely stops. It's just that we're limited, or maybe we're more in control of who we associate with. Maybe we've learned to not let peer pressure be an effect in our lives, but it can absolutely be an effect in your life, can it? If you just think about it, who would I put maybe my kids around? Would I want them influenced in this same way? Using just some little wise measures to determine who you're going to spend time with, who you're going to take advice from, who you're going to allow to help you make choices and decisions. Get around good people. That's why it's important to find a good church. Develop your friendships from that body of people. Develop the close relationships so that hopefully you're all following God together, encouraging one another. So go out today, find a way to be a blessing to someone, and ask yourself, are these friendships, these people that I'm connected with, are they good for me? Are they taking me in the right direction? And if not, make that change.